Today on CCX News, a school district's plea at the ballot box, what a levy renewal could mean for taxpayers and students. One of the levies for the Robbinsdale area school district expires at the end of this year. That means this year voters can either extend or reject the levy this fall. And as Kevin Miller reports, it could have significant impact in the classroom.
Every student at Sonneson Elementary gets their own tablet or laptop.
At the elementary level, we use a combination of iPads for our youngest students and Chromebooks for our older students. We find that Chromebook it doesn't fit a kindergarten classroom very well, and vice versa.
Those devices are provided by the Robbinsdale Area School District. They're part of the technology toolkit used every day for teaching.
Technology is a requirement in the modern classroom because technology influences everything from elections to recipes.
And speaking of elections, the Robbinsdale School District is asking voters to renew its tech levy this November. It was last renewed a decade ago.
I just hope that people will get out and vote.
Superintendent Terry Stallo says it's the main funding stream for district technology.
So we're making a request of a straight renewal. We're not asking for additional funding, but a straight renewal so that our tax rate stays the same.
The levy generates about $7 million per year, and it's not just about laptops. The levy also helps to pay for the security cameras in the hallways and the radios that connect staff members.
This technology levy can help support, or will help support, making sure that we've got the cameras that we need, making sure we've got a strong visitor management system, looking at our secure entrances and figuring out how to continue to support those.
For the students, there's a lot at stake. If the levy fails, it could mean cuts in the classroom.
This $7 million is critical because without this funding stream, it would be $7 million that we would need to take from our general fund to still do these things, $7 million less in the classroom and doing the other things that we need to ensure we've got excellent schools.
In New Hope, Kevin Miller, CCX News.
The general election is Tuesday, November 5th, but early voting is already open. You can find a sample ballot or your polling place on the Secretary of State's website. In Brooklyn Park, a charter school's expansion plans are moving forward. Prairie Seeds Academy, located near the Brooklyn Park Crystal border, has purchased 4 single-family lots next to its property. The purchase will allow the school to build a 28,000 square foot addition. The new space will become classrooms and a gymnasium. A new parking lot and a new entrance to the school on West Broadway will also be created. The City Council gave initial approval to the project this week. In New Hope, a transformation has taken place that the city says will not only add value to a neighborhood, but improve the quality of life. Corey Bork has more.
This was one of the upgrades. This is not typically part of our standard or base model.
Here in New Hope, city council members are getting the first look at a brand new home.
This is kind of the new up-and-coming color. It's called champagne bronze.
With the latest faucet finishes.
So this is a silestone, which is basically a quartz.
And new kitchen countertops. Everything in this 4-bed, 3.5-bath home was focused on functionality.
One of the things we try to do too is our egress windows are quite a bit larger. The openings just to allow daylight in them.
Rob Norling oversaw the project.
So these are kind of, middle of the road kind of homes, but nice starter homes. We do a couple things different with finishes just to kind of enhance the build a little bit.
He says building a new home in an inner-ring suburb is rare.
There's no more land. So in spaces, especially like this, is this like the second ring is what we call this typically. It's really hard to find space here.
Making it possible is a decade-old New Hope program that buys up distressed homes, demos them, then sells the property to developers. Norling's company, Fortis Builders, paid the city $161,000 for the land. City officials believe its program serves an important purpose.
Ultimately, all that is to serve a better quality of life for all the citizens of New Hope. It's kind of like the broken window theory. So we really do try to target the lower end housing stock in our community.
Turning around 30 properties since it began.
I like the word aggressive, but I also like the word successful.
And then so we'll be putting a shower door up.
For Rob Norling, the end result is satisfying.
The young couple that bought this, super enjoyable to work with, very kind. They're super excited about the product. So for me, it means a lot.
In New Hope, Corey Bork, CCX News.
Homes like the one you saw here typically sell for between $380,000 and $580,000. New Hope also has a program that allows homeowners to receive funding to make upgrades to their existing homes. A former Wayzata Central Middle School teacher in Plymouth is now a best-selling author.
I was just telling someone I can't look in the camera too often or else I start crying if I'm telling a story.
We don't want that.
No, I don't want that either.
CCX News caught up with Matt Eicheldinger as he was signing books at the Plymouth Community Center. For those not familiar with his story, Mr. Ike, as the students called him, spent 15 years trying to get his children's book published, Matt Sprouts and the Curse of the 10 Broken Toes. Instead of a line of adoring fans you see here, he received literally hundreds of rejections from publishers. But that saying, persistence pays off, it's indeed true.
I believed in my idea so much, and my students did, that I ended up making the book myself in 2021 in the hopes of getting noticed. And that's eventually what got me a book deal. And no one knew me when I had my book deal. I got a really small advance at the time. And I think for the publisher, it was just giving someone a shot that maybe they saw something in, and it turned out to be a New York Times bestseller.
Now Mr. Ike is out with a new book, Sticky Notes, meant for adults about life lessons he learned as a teacher. And there it is, seen on a billboard in Times Square. He calls the whole experience surreal.
Katie Kelzenberg is already a two-time state champion in volleyball and a state medalist in track and field. This week's CCX Sports Spotlight, we catch up with the Wayzata senior as she pursues even more success in her final year of high school.
Sports are a year-round thing for most serious athletes, and certainly the case for Katie Kelzenberg. But it's not just one activity. She plays basketball in the winter,
Kelzenberg
does track and field in the spring, and plays volleyball year-round. Club in the so-called off-season, and this fall is a senior middle hitter and one of the captains for Wayzata. Oh yeah, she's also a straight-A student in school. There's always something going on for Katie.
It's taught me a lot about time management, definitely, for sure. You don't really do like a ton of other things. You just do your sports in school and try to stay on top of everything the best you can. Try to get good sleep, eat good food, and I don't know, really creating a routine helps, I feel like.
Trojans head coach Scott Jackson appreciates what she has brought to the volleyball program these last 3 years.
Katie has just been a dream to coach. She works so hard. She's so thoughtful in her approach to being the best teammate and the best player she can be. And she just is just kind to everybody. I've never had a bad moment with Katie. It's just been a lot of fun.
And attack Kelzenberg.
A two-time state champion in volleyball. Last year's team was unbeaten. The Trojans enter next week's section playoffs with an 18-10 record. With 10 losses, not something she's used to.
I hate losing. I think no one on my team likes losing either. So it's like when we were losing, we were not thrilled about it, obviously, but you got to move on eventually and then focus on the next game.
Katie is one of the only middles in the state that plays 6 rotations, so we don't take her off the court. And normally with your middle, because they typically don't have as good back row skills, but she's got great back row skills, so we've done that this year with her because we can't afford not to have her out there to be our best team.
In less than a month, it will be basketball season. Katie gave up the sport for 2 years to concentrate on volleyball, but picked it back up last winter.
Good Kelzenberg, another offensive board, and scores again.
It was an all-conference post player for the Trojans, averaging close to a double-double per game.
It was fun last year, coming back with just a new perspective of okay, I'm gonna work as hard as I can, just enjoy being with the team, and just see how far we can go as a group.
Last spring in track and field, Katie won section titles in both the shot put and discus, and a week later finished second in the state in discus and third in the shot, all in a sport she didn't pick up until high school.
Both my brother and my dad was like, oh, you should try this, you'd probably be pretty good at it. should give it a chance. I was like, okay, that sounds fun. So kind of just picked it up, and yeah, it's been really fun so far.
And so which of the three is her favorite sport?
I feel like my favorite sport is whatever sport I'm in season with.
Back to Kelzenberg again.
That's probably the closest I can give you.
For now, that means volleyball, and leading a Wayzata team that for the first time in years won't be favored to win their section, but that's okay.
It's never black and white with rankings or anything like that. Like, you always have a chance to upset a team. So I don't know, I kind of like that we're ranked like lower, we're the underdogs, because it gives us something like motivation to like take down the top team. And you know, hopefully going to playoffs, we just really find our groove.
Katie's parents were both Big Ten athletes. Her dad played football at the University of Minnesota, while her mom was a volleyball player at Northwestern. Katie isn't certain on a major yet for college, other than to say it will be something in the science field. The Section 5 4A playoffs get underway this week with the section final October 30th at Osseo High School. For the CCX Sports Spotlight, I'm John Jacobson.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.